Thanks, Cathaoirleach. Well, obviously, a central item on tomorrow's agenda and Friday's agenda is the next multi-annual financial framework, the MFF 2021 to 2027, which, of course, was published in May. And this next budget for the European Union, it comes, of course, at a period of great change, massive challenges from major migration into the Union, climate change, as colleagues have alluded to, which is also on the agenda, and especially in our own case, the challenge of Brexit and coping with Brexit. And of course, we're all hoping, I suppose, Cathaoirleach, that tomorrow's election will yield a result which will not keep us on the Brexit, intolerable sort of Brexit struggle, towards the end of 2020, that we won't be facing another cliff edge. But our net contributions, Minister, as you know, to the European budget have been steadily increasing. We've been net contributors, I think, for the last 6 years, and we have to be careful, of course, that our budget contributions, it doesn't replace really national debt interest. It's been a huge burden on our own national budget year in, year out. We know, of course, the UK will contribute at least up to the end of 2020, depending on tomorrow's result. A few weeks ago, of course, the Minister told me he forecast that our budget contributions would rise to just under €3 billion in 2020, 3.2, I think, up to 2022, and up to as far as maybe €3.5 billion by 2023. And of course, these projections are based on a number of contingencies, including the performance of our own GNI and whatever budget is agreed at meetings like today. But more importantly, even than keeping a very close eye on the overall budget for the Taoiseach and our ministers, is a necessity, of course, to make changes and amendments to the Stability and Growth Pact, to the fiscal rules. This framework, of course, of budgetary discipline has evolved significantly over the past 20 years, but we know from meetings of the Finance Committee, the Budget Oversight Committee and so on that there are elements to the fiscal rules, of course, which are almost like a straitjacket for our country and which definitely need to be amended and changed. The 5-year review of the 6 and 2 packs, which are part of that, the fiscal rules, it was due to be published by the end of the year, Minister, and I just wonder, have we got our hands on that yet to be able to see what is being proposed? And have the Taoiseach and the Minister for Finance, in fact, made any submissions yet on behalf of Ireland to the review? In other words, there are many elements, as I said, of the Stability and Growth Pact which just don't suit our economy and suit our budgetary strategy, and we need to have them amended, and we need to sort of wriggle out of that straitjacket which the Germans have been apologising to us, of course, for the suffering we underwent in the austerity years, but in actual fact the overall system that they have implemented on budgetary rules, it's not appropriate for our country. We also, of course, have the European Fiscal Board's assessment of the fiscal rules. It was discussed, I think, at the September meeting of ECOFIN, but surely the Minister for Finance and Taoiseach, now they should be clearly, and the Taoiseach today, articulating our dissatisfaction with the way the fiscal rules have operated and making proposals for reform. And earlier, of course, we also learned that members of the Euro area states, in other words, the Eurozone, was being asked to devise a budget for the Eurozone, which clearly also will have a major impact on, it was to be part of the overall multi-annual fiscal framework. And they talk about, in fact, a budgetary instrument for competitiveness and convergence, but open to all members of the Eurozone and candidate members. But in the context of the negotiations for the MFF, will this be something, Minister, that will come up today and tomorrow? It was reported that general principles underpinning this budgetary instrument had been agreed, but again, it's going to be a major impact on our own budgetary strategy, and it's something else, obviously, which the Taoiseach needs to report on to us on. Lastly, just to say, of course, the other element referred to on the financial side on the European Council agenda is technical work on strengthening the banking union. But it has to be said, as Christine Lagarde takes over Cathaoirleach, that the European Central Bank itself, it has failed, I think, to achieve appropriate goals in relation to particularly employment and growth and inflation, given the necessary stimulus to the European economy in 2019 and this year and indeed 2020 onwards. So again, I know the ECB is not accountable directly to the Council. It is accountable, of course, to Parliament and to this House. But again, it's an area that I think the Irish Prime Minister should be raising and should be asking for, a much more dynamic European Central Bank to help our own economy and the other 27 or 26, as may shortly be the case. Thanks, Cathaoirleach.
Thank you.